goals. Kevin.
No
Kevin.
way.
Kevin.
No. I can't, mate. I need to wet myself.
That's all
I love Garrett machines. I've always had Garrett machines.
I mean, it's an easy way. You've got a copy.
You also have these listed. And Kaylee, I'm sure you know about the tail on it is. It's the 18 Pro.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, and I think Dave and Luke done very well on that.
So you can see which has come up on his line.
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and I'm still sharing. It's the Big Detecting Show. Good evening, Adrian.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
I don't know. How are you?
Hello, everyone in the chat. I'm a bit excited. Do you know why?
Why are you
I
excited?
didn't tell you this. Whilst sitting in front of my computer tonight, either the housing manager or my daughter's been using it, and I found a pen. Do you remember these? Got loads of colours in it.
Yeah, I had one in work in my pocket until this week when it fell apart.
No, but it didn't have pink ink.
Possibly not.
Anyway, I'm move on. Sorry. You've been out detecting, Dave?
I don't know what day it is. What day is it?
Sunday, 24th of December.
Been detected. Did I go
Christmas Eve.
detecting last weekend? Have I spoke to you about detecting when I went out with Shane, the Staffordshire searcher, Ron and Steve, and Ron had 2 Romans in the first hole, and then
that was last week, Dave.
I don't know. It's all moulded into one.
I went out on Saturday or Sunday, and mate James put something on the show site about badgers. There was a huge badger set. I mean, it was like London Underground. It stretched out from the edge of the field, right near the ditch, probably about 100 foot out into the field. And the farmers lightly raked it over.
Did you get on the floor in a little fetal position and sob?
No, I kept about 100 meters away from it, just in case. And he detected round it and found nothing. And I found 12 silver denaries.
Really?
No, I didn't. No, that was a dream. No, because I think the Jets flew over on Sunday. It was Sunday, wasn't it, for the Super Bowl or something. So we stood there for about half hour waiting for them. Oh, because you don't see all that, do you, up north? Sorry. Yeah.
I am going out on Saturday. Shane has confirmed.
Oh, good. Good.
Now, he's got a new site. He's not got a new site. He's got some new area on a site. I can't give much away, but I'm going along. He's going to be metal detecting. and I'm going to be surveying the site. I've got all new gadgets and gizmos. Look at this.
What you got,
Nice
Dave?
little laser distance meter. So I'll be surveying the site for him, writing it up all as professionally as I can be. Got all my graph paper and whatnot. That's in a couple of weeks' time. This weekend, do you remember when he went to the moat and I'd done a live video on the moat a couple of months ago with him?
Yeah.
We're going back to that site, but fields a bit further away from that. I know he's excited because he's just texted me sex weeing. So can I say that before 9 o'clock? Yeah.
Yep. Because certain people wouldn't be able to understand that.
And I've moved my camera as well. I've been faffing about my camera and I couldn't find a G clamp anywhere. So if it falls down, it's currently wedged under In Search of Ancient Gods by Eric von Daniken.
Interesting. Yeah, so the weather's getting worse. The fields are getting seeded, and I'm waiting for the sugar beet to come up on my mission, because that hopefully this weekend, fingers crossed. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk. Sorry.
Well, yeah, we're doing something different tonight. I was going to say next weekend I've got the Mysterious Earth conference, and as well as giving out magazines, which we normally would at Detectable Rodney Cook, this is obviously a non-detecting event. It's the first one that we've done as part of the Archaeology of Metal Detecting magazine. So I decided I've got a display case. I want to put a display together. And I struggled, but I've got there. And then I told Graham Dempsey about it as well, showing him a picture of my very sparse display case at that point before I thought, ooh, I can put this in. Ooh, I can put that in. And he sent me a care package with replica coins, and he's lent me a Roman arrow head, which is nice.
Very nice. He sent me very kindly sent me the new composite cleaning pencil box set.
Well, before we start with what we're going to do on the show tonight, would you like to show us your new view of said composite cleaning pencil set?
Oh yeah, right. Computer will hopefully.
No. Do it like Star. Oh, you should have done it like Star Trek. Computer alter ready.
So, can you see that?
Yes, absolutely perfectly.
So he sent me this nice little box, wooden, and you open it up, and it's got the normal composite cleaning pencil in there.
That's upside down. Turn it the other way up, please. That's better.
Metal one, you div. Do you know where the word div comes from?
Divot, as in the divot that the ball's kicked in the goal. No, I have no idea.
It's down to back in the Victorian times when people in prison weren't clever enough to cook or sew, so they made dividers in boxes, hence the word div. If you weren't very intelligent, that's what you were given in prison. So we got the pencil with the normal retractable white piece that's for soft cleaning.
What we're looking at the screen at the moment, it was the center image, wasn't it? It was the full kit.
Yeah, the full kit, lovely little box, which I like because it keeps it all tidy. And then you got the black bit. And then he kindly sent, I don't know how, just for you. I don't know what he means by that.
Oh, he didn't put a kiss on the end.
He sent a lovely little Roman coin there.
Take. Oh, he's got it. Luke's gone again.
Lovely Roman coin there. And then you get this stuff, the cleaning fluid, which is, this is a new one. This is really good. I've just started cleaning the coin in it, and it's better than the Gladius one. It's a lot quicker, and you can reuse it. So if you've got any coins, little pot, which you get in my local kebab shop, you get chili sauce with. And then you've got the preserved.
You don't want to get your chili sauce mixed up with your Roman coins, though, do you?
No. I love this stuff. I can't remember how to open it. This is like kiwi.
You click it down, that's it.
Yeah. And then
put it on your lips.
No, I like smelling it.
Okay.
And then you've got a sheath. And then you get, this is for the brass tip inserts. and then you get a little brass brush insert, and then you get a spare one to the other one for the black and the soft cleaning. So cracking little kit, highly recommend it. I've got his stuff, but I was
there it is on the screen now, Adrian.
Sorry?
There it is on the screen now.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, sorry.
Perfect for Christmas presents. Perfect to tell your other half, give them a poke, and get them to get you one for Christmas.
And he ships all over the world.
Do you know he's actually had his first order, I think, I can't remember where he's from. It was somewhere mental the other day. Somewhere like South Korea or something. His first order from there.
Blimey, crikey. Yeah, so nice bit of kit in
Beautiful.
the kit. So I've got that little box.
Just been reminded, and I think it's Nicola.
Oh, hi, Nicola.
I can't. Sorry, Nicola. I mean, I've got blank. I keep making these horrible. Nicola, who I made the bit of a mistake at Detectable when I was doing a live video. Who's this gentleman here? Oh, I'm sorry, it's Nicola. That one.
That's
love
almost
Nicola.
as bad as me saying when it's due.
We love Nicola.
Ladies, which I've done 3 times in my life. Sorry.
She's just reminded me. Detecticon 2022 has been announced. July the 29th until August the 1st, 2022. So that's Scotty B's event, North of Time Metal Detecting's event. And it was, you didn't come, did you? You missed a doozy. It was absolutely fantastic.
I think I'll plan ahead and camp it up there.
Oh, mate, God, it was men's.
Yeah.
Red hot as well.
Yeah, bring some beer with me, and I think I'll be fine. But
Nicola Roberts, there it is, kicked in then. Nobody's wrote it down. I can actually just come to me like a poof.
Lovely lady, Nicola.
She is, absolutely. And she brings me cake. First person to ever give me cake. Not actually the first person ever to give me cake.
And she's a type 1 diabetic like me, so she can't eat it. So it's probably out of date, Dave. Well, she can eat it, but
anyway,
so tonight.
Yes, Adrian, I'll let you announce what tonight's all about.
We're going to talk about, some people in the chat are going to go, oh no, but it's the beginner's guide, not guide, but discussing beginning metal detecting, which some people in the chat have obviously been doing it for years. Someone might be watching in Kazakhstan who's making one at the moment and wants to start doing it. But it's always good to go over it, I find, now and again, because you remember things where you think, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, I could do with that. So we're going to watch a little video.
Well, we're going to be doing this in a particular manner, aren't we? We're not going to be doing it me and you talking. We're actually going to be influenced by a video.
Q&A.
So we've actually got the host's permission to use the video. He's kindly given us that. Very much looking forward to this as well, Adrian, because it's a brilliant video. So
500,000 hits, nearly half a million on YouTube. Yeah.
So we'll get about 12. Oh! I've got something else as well. Parish notices. The Big Detecting Show now has a Facebook page. We've got the group, obviously, but the page where obviously it's just Big Detecting Show information coming through. So we're just keeping it to that. Try not to share anything else on there. But if you nip over to Facebook and look for the Big Detecting Show Facebook page, there you go.
Have we got an Instagram page? Sorry, have we got an Instagram page?
Well, no, because I don't get Instagram. We've got a Twitter page, and I don't understand Twitter. It just doesn't appeal to me, so I just don't bother with it. I've got an archaeology metal detecting Instagram account, and I don't use that because I don't get it. I'm not an influencer. I'm me.
No, nice place, but anyway, yes. So the Facebook page, people should get on there and subscribe. No, you don't do that on Facebook, do you? Like or whatever. Follow. Yeah. Don't go on it that often.
Stalk.
So. I've just got to mention one thing. Last week's winner of the McGrafter.
I thought you were going to mention the other thing.
Ian Willis, your spade should be with you today. So, what was the other thing?
that you're not using Facebook Messenger anymore because of all the women who are contacting you to have dates and watch their naughty videos.
Yes. I'm fed up with it. Absolutely sick to the... It's the world's most insecure messaging platform, by the way, if people are wondering. So don't go sharing too much information on it. It's so insecure, it's shocking. Stick with something else like
Philip Wills has asked, when are we moving the YouTube channel over to the Big Detecting Show page? In the coming weeks, we're launching a website at the same time, so sooner rather than later. So
yeah.
But we're all very busy and we have real lives, so just let us crack on with that and we'll get there eventually.
Website will be ready next week, and on there it will have all the links.
Amongst other things.
Yeah, lots of other things.
So, Luke, shall we roll with the beginner's guide to metal detecting discussion?
So make sure you've got plenty of batteries in your machine. Make sure that the wire is tightly round the shaft on your machine. You don't want any excess just hanging over that coil and sounding it off. And at this point, I'm going to presume you have a small understanding of your metal detector after reading that 5,000-page user manual that came with it. Okay, so now we're going to make a test bed, and this is just to kind of get an idea of the tones that your machine will give you. Try and do this away from your house, as you'll get interference from electrical appliances and piping and things like that. So try and do it away from your home. Okay, so the first instance, we'll dig a plug at, say, around about 3 inches, then do one at about 6 inches, and then finally I'd say one at 9 inches, just like that. Drop a coin in the first hole and then cover the hole back up again. Detect over the plug. What do you notice? Note it down. What's the tone like? Play with the settings on the machine. What happens when you put more discrimination on and turn the sensitivity down? Really be thorough with this and investigate as much as you can. Then do exactly the same thing with 6 inches and 9 inches, and just constantly ask yourself questions. And when you have a good idea of tones that flat coin is giving you, do exactly the same thing but with a coin on its side. What type of tone are you getting now? Is it any different from when the coin was flat? And after you've thoroughly gone through that process, do the same with other items like rings and anything else metallic that you can get your hands on. Oh, and if you're going to use a ring, make sure you tie a bit of string to it because you just don't want to lose it. Okay, so we want to make sure the shaft of our detector is long enough so we're not stooping or leaning in any way. If you lean and stoop for any extended period whilst metal detecting, you're going to cause yourself you're going to cause back problems, and to be honest with you, it's going to absolutely drain your energy as well. So don't do this. Firstly, it's bad for you, and secondly, you look like a bit of an idiot like this poor fellow in the picture. Okay, low and slow. We want to be getting the coil as low to the ground as possible. Don't upturn on the outswings, okay? You want to keep it parallel as much as possible. It's a bit of an art, because if you go too low, you can scratch the coil, and the coil is super sensitive, and all that will happen is it will start sounding off anyway. So you want to keep it as low as possible, but without actually touching the ground. And you want to go slow, really slow. You want to give your coil as much opportunity to find those items as possible. If you go too fast, you're going to miss things. So remember the saying, low and slow.
What was the question?
Well, I think starting off with all the bits he was talking about, read the instruction manual first. And I think we've skipped a bit about the whole hobby in general, like buying a detector, but that's a completely another story. In my eyes, not saying any brands, you want to spend between 300 and 400 quid. There's lots: Simplex, Garrett Ace 400i, the Vanquish, just as an example. But yeah, I think where he said about reading the manual, really important. Ground balance as well. If you've got manual ground balance on your machine, read up on that, because I think looking at some videos from experienced detectorists, like what's his name with the motorbike? I always forget his name.
Him off the Hairy Bikers?
No, Crawford's metal detecting. He's been on the show.
Mark Lawson.
Marky Mark. He's got a great video out about ground balancing the Knox at the moment, manual ground balance on different sites because soil changes. But anyway, something I think is really important is your ground balance. Don't rely on it manually too much, especially if you're on mineralized ground. But where Chris was talking about digging a sort of test bed, I've got one in my garden, but I don't rely on it because I think I've got an Anderson shelter or a bus under my lawn because I've got so much iron and it just messes things up. And I've got phone cables and everything. And I think with Wi-Fi...
That's one of the things I wanted to say about that. The awareness when you dig in the test bed of actually finding somewhere that is quiet. Go over the location first to find out if there's any other signals before you decide to dig it.
Yeah, I think in a garden, you can, especially with a new build, you haven't got a clue what's under there. It could be an old house, it could be gates, or it could be awful. It could be full of anything. So it's always best to, if you've got a permission, to do it in the field, because you're less likely to have interference or rubbish around there. So, but test beds are good, definitely. I mean, what he says there is cracking. But I find it best to put it in a plastic bag. Thin little, not a money bag, because you don't get those nowadays, do you? But like a little plasticky bag like that sort of thing.
Just a quick question from Nicola about ground balance in the knocks. She was told not to bother. Will it make a difference? Watch
Marky Mark's video, or I've forgotten his name. Oh, Stephen Gray's mate.
Sid Perry.
Sid Perry. Yes, Sid's knocks ground balancing as well. I think at Detectival, he was the only person to find, was it a gold ring or a coin, a certain 12 inches or 14 inches or something, because he ran it on 14 hertz, I think, and ground balanced or something. But yeah, ground balancing, for those who want to move on in the hobby and experience, but if you understand the whole reason of ground balancing, it makes a lot of difference, especially if you go on certain sort of mineralized soil. It can make a world of difference.
And as you mentioned about different types of machines for the beginner, for the novice, the choice of your machine, every single person has got a different perspective on machines. And as you've said, there's the Simplex. You can even go in early at the Garrett Ace 250. You've got a price range. Look at the price range. Research what's available first and foremost. Ask people like yourself, Adrian. Ask people, if you're in a club, somebody will always give you an idea. But unfortunately, as I've found, all these different machines don't generally suit the user. You're very lucky. I think you're very lucky if you pick a machine up and find your perfect machine straight away. It might not. You might feel that it's too mappling as soon as you pick it up, and you need that little bit more oomph.
Yeah, it's also a bit like fashion as well. You get people who are stuck with a certain brand. So, if I wear a polo shirt with an alligator on it, I'm more likely to buy a jumper with an alligator on it. And it might be exactly the same as a top from Primark, but it's got the brand on it. So there are certain manufacturers who have certain benefits in their machines. But yeah, you can sometimes be drawn away by the look and the branding, like anything in life.
Adrian, within reason, do you think slow is still as important as it was, as some machines now are so fast that are likely to miss much, especially in clean ground?
Yeah, I VLF, VLF as in you're not your multi-frequency. Again, it depends what frequency you run at, but it's no harm if you're new to the hobby and just low and slow, definitely. And like Chris said, always keep it flat to the soil. Don't lift the coil up when you're detecting at the side. I've got a classic video of that. My mate James at the weekend, we videoed something. I videoed him for doing something, and I haven't told him this, but he's losing probably 40% of his detecting rate because his coil's coming up. And it's probably because he was tired at the end of the day, or he was fighting off badgers. But yeah, you could video yourself and see where you're going wrong, but low and slow without a doubt. with that.
And I mean, the faster you go, surely the more area you've detected, which equals more fines.
Yeah. I just imagine you've lost your own personal wedding ring. That's why I look at it when I go out detecting. I don't want to miss anything, but you do. No one will ever cover every single inch of the ground. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anything to find. But
and eventually, you always find your perfect speed, perfect height, perfect position, don't you? I mean, when Chris was saying don't bend over, some people want to bend over because they're more comfortable doing that. It's not going to work in the long run. I do at times when I'm. Oh yeah,
bending over, do you, Dave?
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the perfect position ergonomically is to stand up straight. Ergonomically.
Yeah. I like, we're going to get on shafts, but I do like a long shaft when I'm detecting. It's like on the Simplex, great beginner's machine, when there isn't a shaft extension, which I think I need. But something like the Rutus 71, massive extension, ridiculously high. I do like that. I like that. I don't like the core too close to my feet. So yeah, but no, I suppose if you videoed yourself detecting and looked at where you're going wrong, but yeah, could talk all night about that.
There's always the one I like as well, where people actually tie a trowel or something off the back of the pants and put it on the floor so they can see exactly where they're going. And
there's a bloke at Detectable like that.
Was there?
Yeah, and me, James, Jules is Lisa from Jules, the editor of Treasure Hunting. There was only 3 of us in this field, Detectable. Was it Rodney Cook? No, it's Rodney Cook. And it was Detectable. And we were miles out. We were in one of the furthest fields. And I heard this clunk, 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 clunk. I thought, what the hell's that? Like, middle of nowhere. And there's this bloke. He looked, I shouldn't say because he might be watching the show. He looked like Faulty Towers. What's the waiter? Manuel. He looked like Manuel, and he had a spade with about 20 foot of rope behind him, dragging it along, which was all right for him, but it was a bit frustrating for others. But yeah, you could drag your trowel.
Hello in the chat to Catherine from Even Load Films.
Oh, hello.
Who produced the stage show for the entirety of Detectable, and jolly good too.
She did they did a very, very good job.
They did indeed. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
Very professional.
Shall we move on to the next section? Now, are we going to do this a different way this time, Luke? How about you start it with a question, Adrian and I discuss it, and then let's see what Chris says. That's a good question, that one, Adrian. Equipment and kit ideas. I've got all sorts. I'm like Inspector Gadget with my bag and bloody pockets and such like. I've got so many things untrue. Things I'll never need.
I look like I'm going to take out the British Embassy with the amount of gear I've got on, but
oh, mind you, you've got that stupid jacket with the bloody. You can jump off a mountain and put your arms out, haven't you?
Yeah, it might be stupid, but I think the most important things in the hobby is footwear. 100%. Make sure you got good walking boots. I'd go for wellies, obviously, when it's raining, wet and muddy, but they're not the best thing to walk up to 8-10 miles on a day in. They're no support on the ankles and stuff, but good walking boots, waterproof. And the biggest thing, which I think is so important to the hobby, which a lot of people don't use, I do because I'm old, which it reminds me a bit of like when you're young and you're playing football. If you talk to all my friends now who played football heavily when they were younger, they've all got, their knees are gone, smashed. And a lot of that's down to injury and stuff. But in our hobby, you're kneeling down hours, if you add it up, potentially on a day's detecting on damp, wet ground. And knee pads, definitely. Don't want arthritis.
Well, I've got 2 pairs myself, just in case I forget one.
So a knee pad, I wear one. Quite often forget I've put it on detecting, and then finish detecting, go to get petrol, walk in, standing in the queue to pay for petrol, look down, I've got a big knee pad on with like cow poop on it or sheep poo. People looking at me like that. But yeah, knee pads, look after yourself, protect yourself. Chris is, I know he's always saying about plasters, and he's even done one video once where he's got like not pepper spray, but some sort of spray in case you get someone trying to attack you, which I think's over the top. But yeah,
whoa. We're talking badgers here now, mate. Badger mace.
I have electric shotgun for badgers. It's specifically, I made it myself. Runs off of 12 PP9 batteries. But yeah, equipment, use a spade, not a shovel. So anyone American watching, a shovel and a spade, they're different. The shovel's used to shovel, spade's used to dig, if you didn't know that. And shovel's normally got a longer handle. I'm not a lover of short spades, to be honest, because, like Chris said, you don't want to be bending over when you're detecting with a short shaft.
But again, it's each to their own when it's like that. I know people who are taking around stubbies. I know people who are taking around root slayers. I know people who are carrying big, heavy, massive things that are homemade. I know people who are carrying around them a grafter that stretches to infinite length and it's light as a feather. And
holds your weight.
But it's entirely down to the user.
I think if you were an employer and you were doing a risk assessment on someone metal detecting and you said use that spade all day long, you'd say, hang on a minute, the ergonomics of that spade does not suit your body for digging a hole, a small stubby. That's my personal opinion. It might be light, it might be cheap, it might fit in your rucksack. It might be easy to carry, but at the end of the day, the leverage you want, if you're digging a hole, you want, you won't ever see a professional gardener come. Well, what would you do if you hired someone to come around your house and he went, yeah, I'll dig your border over, and he's got a spade like that big? You think,
I've got to stop you there.
Why?
Scotty B.
Oh, yeah, but that's different. So if you're under 4 foot, that would ergonomically fit like Scotty B. But yeah, and the other thing I would say, spades, don't buy one of these multitasking ones off a certain e-commerce site that's got a compass in it and a blinking sat nav and everything and a razor blade cutting tool, because they just bend. They're a load of rubbish, and ignore the reviews. Just buy a cheap spade from B&Q or Homebase or stainless steel or McGrafter or whatever.
And then, of course, we've got your hand trowel. Also in my arsenal, I've got a one of them things on the belt loop that you put the mag lights, the big mag lights in, one of them holders. But I've actually got that for just in case purposes. When we went out in the summer and the ground was baked hard, I've got a little mini mattock, and I took that for just in case purposes, and that worked. I done it gently, didn't go ballistics with it, and also as well because at the moment I'm haven't got a pinpointer. I'm currently obviously using the detector's head itself. I bought a confectionery sweet scoop. The plastic sweet scoop.
Oh yeah.
So it's plastic. It's not going to set everything off. We just do it in front of the thingy, just in case purposes for people. You might want to use stuff like that. Then you've got your fines box, what you put your fines in. Always very important, because how many times have we dropped stuff and we've never found it again? I've also got a little toothbrush. I've got a spray bottle of water, very little spray bottle of water, so you can have a little clean in the field if needs be. But yeah, and personally, water, fluid to drink, because if you're 18 miles away and you're dying for a drink, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
especially on a nice day.
Yeah, it's true. Plenty of water, drink. Common sense, really, if you're going out walking. And you laugh at me in my big bag backpack thing, but I can get some stuff in there. Cake, full-size turkey.
I like cake.
Everything. Yeah, I know you do.
Shall we see what Bleep says?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if we've missed anything out. Oh, headache tablets. That's the other thing. If you
or Nurofen in your case.
How do you know I take Nurofen? I don't take Anodin or Panadol. I got a YouTube question come up today about painkillers, and when you want to watch a video and it says answer this question, it's like, where the hell have they got that from? I don't use Nurofen, but one really important one is antihistamine, because if you get bitten or stung by something and you're out detecting and your arm starts puffing up, or leg or lip or wherever,
spring detectable, Henley on Thames. dig of dawn. Couldn't see, itching all over, down to not having any indication. She had to go hunting for antihistamines at silly o'clock in the morning because obviously she was affected by the pollen. So anyway,
and just one last thing, which Philip Wills has said, which is so important. Tell someone you're going. Where you're going.
Luke's just said to me, bloody hell, Dave, spade detector and clothes, that's all you need.
No, you've got to be prepared.
Roll of ET, Luke. Let's see what Chris says.
Okay, of course, this is going to be different for you if your environmental factors are slightly different to my environmental factors. But all the kit I'm using today is in relation to the southeast of England. Okay, then let's crack on. Durable trousers with lots and lots of pockets in them. I use these JCB ones here. They're very, very tough. Boots, Wellington boots, waterproof, very good. Spade or trowel, not shovel. Shovels are not that good when metal detecting. Good, durable, tough gloves.
Ooh, yes.
Probe. If you've got a probe.
Oh, I forgot probe.
Spare batteries.
Don't always need a probe.
How do we forget the batteries?
Okay, your kit bag needs to be small enough to be portable and comfortable to you, but big enough to be able to hold fines and any rubbish and trash that you may find. It's also good to have a bag like this that has all sorts of little pockets to have extra things as well. I can't remember what make this is, but this bag is fantastic. Hold on.
It's a sexy little bag.
It's a nice bag.
I'll put a link below to these bags. These, my friend sent me this from California, and it has been by far the best bag I've ever had for metal detecting, so I thoroughly recommend these. As previously mentioned, this bag has a lot of pockets, so I'm just going to go through what I have in here right now. Obviously, your personal preference will be different to mine, but I'm going to cover it here just in case it helps anybody. Okay, plasters. Lots and lots of plasters. Pills, tablets, headache tablets, paracetamol, colcodamol, all in there. Water for hydration. Hip flask full of whiskey for celebration. Suntan lotion for those rare, rare warm days, hot days that we have over here in England. A fines box of some sort. Again, there's a link below. And this one here has got lots and lots of different compartments in it, so it's really, really handy. In this one I have spare headphones, I have spare screws for my detector, I've got some money in there as well, just in case I need it for petrol or something like that, chewing gum, and of course there's some fines in there, some Nuremberg jetters. A toothbrush for cleaning fines very gently when you don't want to rub fines and coins on your clothes because it could take away the detail, so this will just gently pry off some of that mud for you. Here I have a penknife of all sorts going on it. You can get like alternatives as well. Swiss Army knives are really, really good. If I'm in a situation where I need to clean things or fix things, this is very, very handy. Your metal detecting insurance, just in case you're in a situation where you need to show this. Antiseptic gel, just in case you need to clean any wounds. Your mobile phone, just in case you get in any trouble. A toilet roll, just in case you get in any trouble. Not normally that much. And also, just in case you need to clean things, clean your hands. Wet wipes also really good for this. And a hat tends to be handy for all types of weather. That's pretty much it. In addition to that, I would suggest some high energy foods such as bananas or chocolate. That's what I tend to take with me. But no, that looks like a lot of stuff, I understand, but that's why these bags are fantastic because they've got so many pockets in. But I can also keep my junk and my trash and my good finds in here as well, so it works out really well. It's light, small, portable, perfect.
There you go.
Well, it's funny. I've got bizarrely all my jumble here, and one of these is really good. I'm reviewing this month's treasure hunting about it. It's on a thingy, and it's got a magnifying glass, a measuring thing on there, but lovely little prick for, when you get that crotal bell and you can clean it when you get home. You just can scoop it out and see if it's got a ring in it in the field. But that's quite good. And I've got my bag here. And he did say, which I forgot, was gloves. Really important, especially with, what's that thing we all had an injection for when we were at school? Not rubella. No, that's girls. Rubella's girls, isn't it? Tetanus, yes.
You're not very good tonight, eh? That's the fourth time you've done it tonight.
What, said rubella?
No, can't remember your words. It's normally me.
No. Yeah, gloves really important because especially if just remind me.
Luke says no gloves. Eating mud is good for you.
No, well, not when you're digging down, and
you won't get
dump.
COVID if you eat enough mud.
Well, if there's glass in the ground, but in all honesty, you got to think about. Well, your health comes first, but more importantly for me is I don't want to ruin a day's metal detecting because in the first 10 minutes I've dug down and there's a broken bottle and I cut my hand open and have to go to hospital dressed up in loads of mincy gear that we wear when we go detecting in A&E. But yeah, it's I think he covered. I mean, I doubt many people carry as much as Chris does. Do you?
And I've caught no, I'm not you. I've got me little thingy. Finds pouch, the searcher finds pouch, so that's what I've got with me gear in, and obviously I've got that belt loop just in case. But that sand scoop type thing, not sand scoop, sweet scoop's only for the time being until I get a new pinpointer and the Matic. It's not Matic weather. Something we forgot was a recorder as well. You know, with the recorder we learned to use at school. Obviously, take that as well. No idea. Just saying it. Luke, what's next?
Because it does all add up. All that gear. Sorry, you're saying about pinpointer, trowel, and all that. If pinpointer's most commonly lost, I think I've only lost one. My mate James has lost a couple. But 50, 60, 100, 150, 200 quid a go. Put it on a retractable thing because you quite often forget. You pinpoint and you forget. And the same as the digging tools, 20, 30 quid for a decent one. You leave it in the ground, walk away. Next thing you know, the farmer's...
Have you got one of them things on your belt loop that attaches to your keys on a chain and you can get to your keys like my dad used to have as well?
I've got one for each key. So I've got 12 on my belt. And I've also got a mobile phone holster with my Nokia 3310. But I've actually changed from a digging tool available from Nocta, Garrett and all that to a normal lightweight trowel, which costs 5 quid. And if I lose it, it's 5 quid. So, yeah. And I prefer it because it's lightweight.
Scotty B got bit by a farmer's dog a couple of weeks ago. No tetanus for me and he lived. That's because you're only little.
Well, he only had one about 3 years ago, didn't he?
And it was only a chihuahua, which just looked like a big dog to you.
Probably a cat.
Probably a gerbil or a hamster.
Or a mouse.
Luke, roll VT. Or show us what's next. Oh, no. There we are. What land can I detect on? A question that every beginner asks and needs to know.
Well, you need permission for a start. You can't detect, you need permission. You need to find a permission. And from that, we mean private land. You can't detect on a footpath. You can't detect in a park. Well, you can detect in the park if your local council allows it, but 99% of them don't because of risk assessments and stuff. If you dig a hole and don't fill it in, little Johnny who's going on the roundabout might run over to it and fall in the hole, etc., etc. But you really need to find a permission from a farmer, and you need to sign an agreement, 100% sign an agreement, and make sure he's the landowner and not a tenant farmer, because there's lots of problems there. So make sure he actually owns the land. And if you go on NCMD website or on Google Online, you can download the agreements, get that signed and stamped without a doubt, and make sure. But join a club, you'll get on a permission with a club. And if you get really friendly with someone in the club, they might have their own permission and they'll let you detect. Or you can detect on most beaches, as long as
you have to check carefully check with it's Crown property or not. Really?
Yes, if it's Crown property.
Let's do it properly now.
They have opened it up a bit more now. The Crown things have opened up, and make sure it's not SSI, which is site of
scientific interest.
Because you'll get in like 20 grand fine, I think it is, if you're caught on those. But beach detecting, if you're new to the hobby, is good. You can just go down there.
Unless you may have this despise beach detecting with a passion.
Aaron
Weedle's made for it. Loves it. I think he prefers it more than land.
Yeah,
I don't get on with it.
No, I think it's a certain. It's nice. It's a lovely place to detect.
Oh,
as long as there's
absolutely.
not any nutters around. You get a lot of. You found anything yet? Oh, have you found gold? You get a lot of that, and you get a lot of ring pulls. But you'll also get potentially wedding rings and stuff. But the key thing I think is if you're really thinking about starting detecting, is to join a club and see if you like it first before blowing 400 or 500 quid. I know a lot of clubs are full,
but then again, you have got the potential. The metal detectives and peaky finders both have experience days where you obviously pay to go on a whatever site with them, and they provide the equipment for you to use and the instruction as well.
Yeah. I think it's just it. I think I've not spoken to. I think I've only ever spoken to one person who said, "Yeah, I tried metal detecting, I didn't like it," which is quite good sort of rates. I don't think I've ever spoken. I think you need to have that mindset. If you were a kid and you liked digging holes in the beach, you'll like metal detecting, because I did. So, yeah.
Oh, and one thing we have forgot, obviously, is insurance. Don't forget you Just Detect Insurance.
Yeah. Or other channels you can get it from. Yeah, definitely you want insurance, 100%. I think farmers are becoming more aware of it now, if you've got insurance. So, because you couldn't cause a lot of damage, but you could. If you left a gate open and a cow ran out in front of a car and killed a family of 4, that would be a bit of a nightmare.
You're so glass half full, aren't you?
Yeah. It is actually half full, my God.
Top it up. Luke, let's see what Chris says.
Okay, concerning permissions, and this is really, really important, you can't just go on land. I think in most instances, beginner metal detectorists just think that they can just wander on anywhere and just start metal detecting. That really isn't the case, guys. Regarding England, and all this information is about England, but I'm sure it applies similar to the rest of the world. All land is owned by someone, and you need to get the owner's permission if you're going to go onto their land. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll only get done for criminal damage, which is about £20,000, trespassing, which is about £20,000, and theft, which is about £20,000. If you're lucky. Some of the farmers I know, you're lucky they don't just set the dogs onto you. People think that you can detect public parks. You can't. You have to get permission from the council to be able to do that. And a lot of councils are not favourable to metal detecting. Bridleways, paths, again, you've got to get permission to do them. And in the description below, I've got a really, really thorough guide on how to get metal detecting permission. So go check that out.
Yeah, more or less the same as we said, apart from the Just Detect Insurance.
Yes, plug it. Yes, yeah, it was.
Gambo 47, you joined and subscribed to JD and have the NCMD insurance as well. Is that overkill? No. Yes. You don't. No. Why do you need 2 insurances? You're just paying for 2 things.
If it was 100 quid or 200 quid, with NCMD, you do get the magazine and a badge. But I don't know. I found out.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying one over the other, but you don't need more. I don't see why you need. Because I know someone who's been FID on NCMD, and I don't understand why they've done both. Because what did the FID do for the hobby?
But I once paid for my house insurance with 2 companies for 3 years, and then I realised I doubled my house insurance, which I don't think you're allowed to do. But could you claim twice then if you had 2 policies?
Well, if you think about it, why would you want to claim twice? Because basically you're wrong. You're not covered on your equipment. You're covered on protecting everything else, aren't you?
Are you not covered on equipment with Just Detect?
I don't know. I can't answer that. But what I'm saying is, if both and the cow come out and the family of 4 died, why would you need to claim twice?
Get more money.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just detect.
Fraud. That's fraud. So yeah, like Shane, Staffordshire Searcher said, he gained permissions from
no, it's not. Your machine isn't
covered. Okay. Yes. Shane, Staffordshire Searcher, gained the permission from having
lovely
insurance.
lad.
Yeah, he is. It's nice. Yeah. So that's where we are on that. What was the next question? How to detect
Graham Dempsey's only just turned up, and Graham Dempsey's missed the big your new toy thing.
Oh God! Well, I don't know.
Also, have you seen his picture on his YouTube there on the right hand side? He's about 12 on that picture, I reckon, because that's not him now.
No.
Change your picture, Graham.
The question: how do I detect a field? Well, how do you? Well, first things first. Beauty of YouTube. YouTube? Well, you could go on YouTube, but it won't help you. Google Maps. Archie. I can never remember it. Archie UK. England, Scotland maps thing. Search online. But in all honesty,
LiDAR malarkey.
Yeah, you can do all that, but in all honesty, I think when you get in the field, most of the time, like me, you get a bit too excited and just turn the machine on and start detecting. But if there is a footpath, follow it, definitely. You obviously, in the UK, we've got footpath signs from one edge of the field to the other. They're normally accurate, but they sometimes move over the years.
Do you know I was detected a few months ago and followed the footpath, and the footpath led you followed the route exactly where it sent me, and it come to a motorway, and then it said the footpath is closed here. Well, obviously there's a motorway there, and apparently on the other side of the motorway is the other side of where the foot. Why didn't you just stop it?
Actually, it looked quite interesting seeing someone detecting across the motorway. Yeah, so, but footpaths as well, people forget that when the tractor or farming equipment goes over it, it can drag the fines 10, 20 foot away from the... So if there is a footpath, I'd say at least 30, 40 foot either side of it. And that's if it hasn't moved over the years, because there's a permission I detected on a few weeks ago, my mate James, and that had 2 footpaths, one which is there and one which is historically a different direction. I don't think I told James that. Well, that's my secret. He's not watching. But yeah, footpaths. Well, how do I detect in a field? I personally go round the edges and then cross it in an X. And
why not in a cross? In a normal, like one of them, as opposed to like that? Why a cross?
Sorry, an X.
Why corner to corner and not side to side?
I do corner to corner.
Why not side to side?
Well, I go around the edges.
Yeah. And then you go in cross to cross. You do corner to corner. Why don't you go side to side? I know what I'm on about.
Well, I can't do the cross because that's a sign of our Lord Jesus. And I do not want to, you know.
But you'll go detecting on a Sunday?
After church. But yeah, detecting in the field. How do I detect in a field? Just get in.
You see,
I think you can read into stuff too much on maps.
I've seen a lot of people actually plot out a grid and go every inch of that grid, and then move on to the next grid, and you can take hours in that little grid.
Yeah.
And then you've got people who go up and down in lines. You know, people who goes round the edges and across. I do what's called the Dave Sadler meander, and that goes anywhere that I feel fit. I'll go this way. Oh, I'll go this way now. I go everywhere.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I like my mate James. He will walk like so much, twice the speed of me. And we went out with Julian Hart last year, the year before, and we had a permission. It was just outside central London. It was it's like a horse field. And it was right near, was it Oliver Cromwell? Oliver Cromwell. someone stayed, I can't remember who it was, stayed right near it. And
Jane Goody.
No, It was the Goodies, the one who does the bird one. No, yeah. And me and James went round an area, probably a couple of acres in a few hours. And Julian Evan Hart did about 30 foot in 2 hours, but he was slow. He was going slow, meticulous, and he found twice as many finds as us. To be fair, he had his CTX 3030, but yeah, I think if you're doing it for a hobby and you're starting out, don't read too much into it. Just go out, and if you find something, you find something. And then if you really want to drill down into it, you can start doing grids, laying down ropes, guidelines, going up and down. For me personally, my permission's quite big, so one day when I retire, I probably will do that. But in the meantime, I'm like a kid in the sweet shop at the moment. I just want to get out on every field. Some fields are good, some fields are bad. The ones that are good, you spend more time on. The ones that are bad, they're more of a challenge because there is stuff in there, but you've got to work a bit harder to get it.
Again, it's down to user's preference or whatever comes naturally.
Yeah, as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're getting fresh air and out there detecting, you might be missing stuff, but as long as you're enjoying yourself.
Let's see what the boy Bleep says, and then we'll go to our Just Detect roll.
Oh.
So from this point onwards, I'm going to presume that you have permission, and here is your field. We're going to use this field here for an example. It's just a random field that I found on the internet. Now, straight away, what do we see? Okay, great. So we have a pathway there. That's important that we know that. Pathways are great. So scan the pathway up and down, but also understand that tractors can pull items really far distance away. So don't just think that, oh, it's just a pathway. I've done the pathway. No. The plow can pull things really, really far. So you want to be checking both areas, left and right, of that pathway quite thoroughly. Okay, great. So the next thing you want to do really, apart from having like a mental note of the field that you're going to do, is go to Google Earth. Okay, which is different to Google Maps. It's a program you can get. And on that, you can go back in time. So you can take this field and you can go back in time. Here, we see a cropped field. But if you go back in time, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, you might see a field it might have recorded it as stubble. And on that, you can maybe see structures that point out and things like this. You know, this is what it will look like. And they become quite visible and you can see them easier. Of course, we want to detect that area as well. And then I'd like you to go to oldmaps.co.uk. There are other websites, reference websites that you can find online as well. And on that, you can plug in the map that you're using, exactly where you are, and it will go back in time for you. It will go back like a couple of 100 years. And on that, you may see old pathways like this, but you can't see on Google Maps or Google Earth because you can't go that far back in time. Again, check these pathways, left, right, left, right, left, right. Do it really, really thoroughly. Other things that you may notice on your map: trees.
Trees are a great place to sit, to shield yourself from the elements, from the sun, the rain, the snow, the whatever. I mean, look at this here. That just looks like the perfect seat, doesn't it? I'm going to sit there in a minute and just contemplate the day. Okay, a lot of my finds come up underneath trees because of the aforementioned information. So always check around trees.
Perhaps a hill here.
Okay, check the ridges on tops of hills. This is where people sat in the past, farmers and people like that. But also, check the hill going downwards. You see there? Because over time, obviously finds and gravity, they get pulled downwards. So always check the tops.
Do you know, Adrian?
Check the bottom of hills.
I always do that.
Maybe there's a dip
I do.
of some
I look
sort
at it.
over here.
And it never works.
Now, it's probably not coming over that well on the camera, but here we have a dip. Can you see that dip right there? So that dip is potentially where someone has dug in and created some sort of settlement. It could have been a building here or huts or anything at all. Or it could just be a dip. Either way, always give dips a very, very good scan.
Here, there may be something that looks like a strategic stronghold of some sort.
What are strategic strongholds? Well, I would say places on tops of hills where you can get a really good vantage point to see your potential enemy come in. So tops of hills, tops of valleys, places that look over sea, anywhere like that is really, really good to check.
And maybe there...
From garden hideaways and careful trimming.
There's a mound.
I see a lady trimming
here.
her
Don't
bush,
forget, if you
right?
check that, it could be a burial. So you're going to need, if you find anything significant there, you're going to need to contact your flow. And of course, we have rivers. And the banks of small rivers and streams are always really good to detect, because obviously people like to sit on the side of rivers and streams and things like that. So always check these as well. Okay, always check the spoil outside of an animal's home.
No.
Like this one just here. Okay,
No.
look at all this. Because what they tend to do is they kick up things that are really down low. And it has been known that objects have been found in the animal spoil. Now, you have these points of interest on your field. So how are you going to detect them? Well, everybody does this differently. There's... I'd like to say there is no wrong or right way of doing this, but there is a wrong and right way of doing this. I like to go on and I'll hit these points of significance, like these here, and I'll detect these as thoroughly as I can. Or if there are no points of significance, including the pathway there, if there are no points of significance, I tend to just wander on and I'll detect absolutely anywhere. For the first few sessions, I'll just try and get an idea of where there's points, and maybe I'll find a hotspot. So maybe there's a hotspot right there. So I've wandered and I've gone, okay then, there's a few buttons and coins seem to be coming up in this area here. So then what I'll do is I'll start doing this area a little bit more thoroughly. And the way I'll do that is I'll get a reference point on the horizon and I'll go in straight lines, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like thusly. Okay, and I'll do it as thoroughly as possible. Obviously, you want to do it so the outswing of your detector is going to be on your next pathway. Okay, you don't want to be doing it this far. This is just an example. And I'll also have a GPS app on my phone as well that I use just to see exactly where I've gone. And I'll do that quite thoroughly, and I'll have a good wander. Once I've done that, I'll do the same thing the other way, just in case I've missed anything on the inswing or the outswing once again. Like that. So I've kind of covered that area quite thoroughly. And then I'll probably just wander off again and find somewhere else. This process itself has probably taken me days and days and days to do. And then I'll find another hot spot and go, oh, okay, then I'll do exactly the same thing here. Sorry, that's supposed to look like a cross. It's awful. Okay, great. That's the way I do it, which isn't particularly wrong, but there are better, more thorough ways of doing this. Now, the old timers, the older boys, now what they like to do, a lot of the ones that I've spoken to, they are really thorough. They get like stumps and then they tie rope to those stumps and they'll make a line from one area to another area, like thusly, and then they'll detect next to that, and then they'll take it out and then they'll make another line. Once there. Again, obviously, these lines are going to be really, really tight and close together, and they'll do that on the whole map. And their finds rate is through the roof because they are very slow and thorough as well. And they'll go up and down these lines really, really slowly, and they'll do it for the whole of the field, and they do not miss a thing. My method, you will miss things. And I'm trying to make my process a little bit more like how these guys do it, okay? It is the time-consuming way. It is the dull way, unfortunately, but it is easily the most successful way. Okay, and they'll do this with their stick and their rope, and they'll go up and down, or you can just find some sort of point on the horizon, but you will wander off in different, you will kind of like, it will become more staggered if you do that. And then a year later, because this will probably take a blooming year to do, they'll come back and they'll do exactly the same thing the other way, just so they don't miss anything at all. And as I say, their finds rates are fantastic. Okay, and they'll do that, and they'll do it, and they'll do it, and they'll do it, and they'll do it. And then, after they've done that, the plough will go over it, and the whole process will start again. Now, why does that start again? The plough will bring things up from underneath that weren't there before. Okay, the depth that your detector goes at, the plough can bring it up to the surface or bring it up nearer, so it becomes in the depth of your detector. So a field is never ever truly done. It will constantly regurgitate these things, these artifacts and these coins, and they constantly come up year after year after year. So then these guys will come back, and again they'll start the whole process again. So there's a few ideas, but please understand that this method here is the most successful method.
Brilliant, that.
He hit the nail on the head.
Okay, so
he said the older guys.
They constantly regurgitates these.
Meaning like yourself.
No, when I'm older, I will do that. But we to put those pegs out and those ropes, that'd take me a day anyway. So, but I think going forward, I can't wait till I have the time, like those guys, to just spend all that.
If I can actually physically move by then. Luke, can you share the screen, please?
I didn't enter this, I don't think.
I think I did. Let me see if I can do this right now. How do we do this?
No,
then?
I didn't. I didn't enter it because
there you go. Look at that. He's done it. Right. So, Just Tech News. They launched the prize draws in the USA in partnership with Calico. Prize draws for Europe will be released by or before next week. New features for Pro members. If you choose to add a location when you add your find, you can view all of your find spots on a map by pressing the location icon on your profile. Your location data is only visible to you. If you add location to a find, it will show as recorded. More features coming soon. I now know there's over 5,000 finds being logged on there and over 2,700 people are using the Just Detect app. So tonight's first prize, finds identified book. Second prize, detectable Mind Lab merchandise. And final prize, Just Detect merch. Here we go. Good luck, y'all. I think I entered.
Oh.
Come on. Be me. I've got that book. Don't be me. I'm all right. Finds identified book winner is Keith Burnett.
Well done. Good book.
Second prize for detectable merch and the Mind Lab merch is... Oh, there was me. I saw me then.
I'm a bit worried. I think I saw myself. No. Those who haven't got finds identified, head over to Greenlight Publishing and get it.
Absolutely. And the winner of Detectable and Mind Lab merch is Northern Searcher.
Well
The final prize for Just Detect merch in this week's free Just Detect draw. Don't forget, just enter it by pressing on that little prize thing there to enter it. It's free to one and all. So the winner of the Just Detect merch is Matt Evans. So first prize, the finds identified book to Keith Burnett. Second prize, detectable and Mind Lab merch to Northern Searcher, and the Just Detect merchandise to Matt Evans. Congratulations, one and all, and thank you to Just Detect for asking us to do said draws. And we're back.
I feel bad. Look at my Just Detect hat.
It's a bit dirty, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Christina Aguilera. Dirty, that is. Mine's
Look
up there.
That's been in the field. That's proper hardcore, that is.
I've tidied the office and can't reach anything.
Let's look at a state. Why's that gold funny? Oh. But yeah, well done, everyone there. What was the next question, Dave, or wasn't there one?
The answer to your question in a private chat, Adrian, is no. Digging your target. I think we're having a mooch on here, really, aren't we? We've got 10 minutes left of the video. Digging your target. Adrian, I'll just let you explain this one.
Use a spade. Make sure not your hands, because it's quite hard. Chris, I don't know what he's going to say, but I wouldn't say straight away you need a pinpointer. If you've got one, fair enough. Don't buy a cheap one off Amazon.
To be honest, it is a good idea learning your machine before you buy a pinpointer.
Yeah, some machines, and pretty much 90% of the ones 300 to 400 quid are very, very good at pinpointing. And from that, the coil, when it goes beep, 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 there's a mode you press and it says pinpoint, and you will find from that whether it's or do you like that, Dave?
That was just phenomenal.
You'll get an area where you can dig, and then when you dig the dirt out, you can run your pinpointer over it or your coil, or pick it up with your hand, making sure you've not got a ring on, over your coil like that, and you'll find it. But I think the pinpointing on machines now is really good. A pinpointer's a handy bit of kit to have. I use one all the time, most of the time, but you don't need one. I think learning your pinpointer on your machine is really important. I personally get annoyed when I get my pinpointer out, but at the same time, I'm pleased when it's small, especially if I'm running a high frequency and it's picking up little tiny bits. But it's just a bit of a faff, isn't it, a pinpointer? And sometimes if you're using a Yankee Woodle pinpointer against a Yankee Koodle machine, different makes, I like those names, you'll get interference and your headphones will buzz or your detector will buzz. So yeah, some days I don't use a pinpointer, some days I do. It depends what if I'm looking for coins and I'm running quite a low frequency, I'll just pick up the clod and run it over the coil. So it's
I've just got to go into to Gareth Howard's comment in the chat room. Can, if they're watching, Pink Stuff, ta-da, register on Just Detect as Pink Stuff, ta-da, please, because he misses our pronunciation of Pink Stuff, ta-da, that used to win every week on Digger's Dips.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about Pinks. Yeah, ta-da. Ta-da. Oh, I nearly said something there. Red light, green light.
Danger.
About Squid Game. Everyone's talking about Squid Game.
Never seen it, not interested. A, it's not English, and in the sense that there's not English words, and B, the English words are dubbed anyway, so you can't make sure to get me around it. Don't watch it.
I just it's interesting to watch it.
In fact, Shane Oldcroft sent me a picture this morning of Dora the Explorer, and I'm like, don't get it, mate. Sends me a picture of Dora the Explorer. I'm like, no idea what you're on about. And apparently it's got something to do with Squid Games. So that's how.
What?
Apparently it's not Dora the Explorer. There's a big inflatable human type thing in a field. And this picture of Dora.
Okay. Yeah. Red light, green light. Yeah. Yeah, Shane's right. Oh my God.
Yeah, anyway, moving on.
Is she Chinese, Japanese? No.
Let's see what Chris says. Unmute it, Luke. It's on mute.
What I like to do is I like just to move around the target. So it's just investigating it a little bit more. It's still a good, strong target. It's a bit of a bleep in there that I don't like. So it's probably a bit of lead, I'd say. Okay, so I've ascertained that's my target right there. It's about the middle of the coil. So I'm predicting it's going to be there. Okay, so the next thing to do is to form a plug. Now, we only really do this when we're on pasture land, but it's just good to get into this habit anyway. I tend to do it when I'm on ploughed fields as well, but it's all going to come down to your preference and what field you're actually detecting on. Let's have a quick think about this. Okay, so my target is right there, yes? I don't want to be digging there. I don't want to be putting my spade through that target and potentially damaging that target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to form a plug around the target. So in this instance, I'm going to start here. Okay, just lever it a little bit. Then here. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to come around the other side here. Voila, I now have my plug. Now this is good because it's a good way of finding your target, but it means that you can just, if you're lucky, you get to just put the plug back in neatly, which will please your farmer.
Okay, and not only that, it'll stop the grass from dying.
And lo and behold,
exactly,
the target is in the plug. Now at this point,
they'll grow back.
You bring out your trowel or your probe. See, a probe will find that really quickly. All I've got to do is stick the probe in there, bam, and it will find it. But in this instance, I'm presuming that you don't have a probe, so we're just going to go ahead and get in there. And there's a few ways of doing this. People have do it differently. At the moment, all I do is I'm setting up my detector on its side right there because I'm going to scan that. But then I'm just going to get in, break up, put this bit back here, and hope that it's in this bit. Scan. And it is in there. Okay, and then I'm going to break that up. Hard to do when you've got a camera in your hand, but hopefully you'll see the point.
When you haven't got
Normally,
a wedding
it'll
ring
be a
on
lot
that hand.
neater than this. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm literally just breaking down the possibilities, and as I go, I'm just filling this hole back in. As I said, it's normally a lot neater than this. Okay, so last scan, it's come out. So I'm going to put that back. There's my plug. Try and make it look as neat as possible, as I keep on saying. So the target is here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up and grab these little bits. And it's not there. This is where a probe comes in really handy. There you go. I have successfully located the target without doing too much damage at all. Looks pretty neat. That'll grow back quite nicely. And I do believe, my presumption was right. That is indeed just a little bit of lead. Okay, so that's always going to change concerning the conditions of the land that you're on. But the point is that you just do not put your spade through the target. Dig around the target, create a plug. Okay, and you want to try and get it back as neatly as possible, whether that's on ploughed, whether that's on pasture, whether that's on the beach, whether that's on whatever. So that's a good little target.
Good call.
Yes. Move around to investigate more.
He's still going on.
It's funny, isn't it, what Chris does? Because it's a lot of it's common knowledge to all of us, but the way he just portrays it, it's interesting. And I was getting so excited then when he was I just do when a bit of mud with that tone. I love it. I don't know what it is.
Going back to the part where he was talking about what areas to detect in the fields, I always thought to myself, am I daft? Because I'm looking at lumps and bumps. Where would I sit in a field? Let's go down by the river. Let's meander. Let's look at these. I always thought I was daft doing that. And then Chris is doing exactly the same as I would generally do.
I do. And trees, the only thing with trees, I find the trees always have fines under them historically. I always think of a load of farm workers sitting there eating their ploughmans and their gold coins falling out their pockets, which they never had. But the only thing I find about trees is many a time I've got a really good signal and it's under the root. And when I mean root, it's like that and you just can't get it. And it's frustrating. So I do sometimes find it a bit frustrating detecting around big trees, big girth. Oh, Tony Kaywood said irons. So I've heard a lot of
no. It's crap football team.
It's my son's a West Ham supporter, and there's all shouting going on upstairs. So I don't know.
They're playing in the Vauxhall Conference or something. Luke, what's the next bit, please?
West Ham.
Okay, hopefully there's a lot of information there that can help you out. Just one last section, and I just want to cover staying safe. There's a lot of things out there in metal detecting land that can do you damage, so you just need to be aware of these things. Always wear gloves, please. Always wear gloves. You can get all sorts of diseases and silage and horrible stuff in the mud that can really do you some damage. And obviously rusty metal, tetanus, things like that. So just wear really good, durable gloves. If you're in long grass, anywhere in the world, long grass, there's beasties and critters and things that want to make your day really, really bad. But over here, just be aware of ticks. Ticks are bad. Don't pull ticks out. Learn what you need to do if you get a tick. Adders, snakes, things like that. So just be aware in long grass there are things that can hurt. If you see something that looks bombish or looks like something that could potentially go bang, then don't dig it up. Leave it in there and just notify the authorities. Call the police. I've done it 3 times now. I found 3 bombs. But please just don't try and dig them up. Just because they've been in the ground for 70 or 80 years doesn't mean to say that they still can't explode. And if you can, try and always go out with somebody else. Try and get a buddy to go out with. I mean, there's going to be plenty of circumstances where you can't do this. But if you can't do that, then please take a mobile phone and have it charged, because you don't know what trouble you may get into when you're out on the field. Also, just be aware of any activity around you. Especially if you're on beaches at night and things like that. Just kind of be aware and constantly just check with yourself, are there people that are interested in what I'm doing, who are those people, and just kind of walk away if you feel like they are going to be like antagonising you in any way. Also, be aware of cows and things that go moo, mainly because not because they want to hurt you, but when they get freaked out, they tend to charge. So they could be around you. They're very inquisitive animals, and they will come and have a look at you and see what you're doing. That's probably okay, but when they get freaked from the other side and then they charge towards you, they're scared. So just be aware of cows as well, and of course, especially be aware of bulls, because they can be a bit testy. I didn't quite know where to put it in this video, but I'll put it here. Consider getting yourself some insurance as well. It's only a few pounds a year. And I think like the NCMD, the guys that I'm with, I think that they cover you up to 11 million, just in case you get yourself into you do any damage out there, you accidentally leave a fence open or something like that. So it's worth getting just to cover yourself. That's probably common sense. And I know that I mentioned Wellington boots earlier, my kit bag thing. But just get yourself some good footwear, because you can do yourself some damage in the long run. Anyway, does anybody else have any tips concerning staying safe? I'm sure that you have loads that I've missed already. And if you do, please comment below. And that's it, my friends. My beginner's guide to metal detecting. I hope it helped you in some way. Don't forget to subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. And I can't thank Chris enough for allowing us to use that video tonight.
Yeah, hats off to Chris. And I think 500,000 people who've liked that video can't be wrong. Yeah, it's good of him to put that together, and hopefully people have refreshed themselves a bit on things.
I wish I could do cool animation like he does as well. I'm coins dropping. Whoa! Oh! Get that, Adrian! Get that, Adrian!
No, don't touch it! Right there. Kill ya. Look at it.
No, dostanie upośledzony.
It's carrying a baby child.
It's all going off. He just bashed the bottle of the bottles over his head.
Oh, it's not funny. Last time I saw something like that was probably Driller Killer in 1979. That's really upset my head, that is. Oh my God. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Oh, and I did, I looked at the UK government statistics on badger deaths. I managed to drill it down, Dave.
Yeah.
4,972 people were killed last year by badgers. Wow. I think. Yeah.
Why are you lying though? Show me your tongue. Right? Show me your tongue. Show me your tongue. Show me your tongue. Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
That red tongue, red wine. No, it's true. It's true. Honestly.
Show me the proof.
Yeah, let's not get onto badgers. I did
not letting badgers get onto you.
Yeah.
No.
See? Luke, you're so clever, mate. It's true. 5 people.
5 people were injured when a badger went on a 48-hour rampage.
I'm Lost Tapes of History. I'm doing changing subject slightly, but it's going to lead on to something. I'm doing a podcast for the Lost Tapes of History for the lovely Kerry soon. Got the script there. Hide it. And I think off the back of that, it's not related to badgers, but it'll be on Lost Tapes of History podcast soon. Great. Subscribe, Google it, go on YouTube or whatever.
Spotify, all your podcast providers.
Not YouTube. I think off the back of that, the BBC are going to see my concern about badgers. And I reckon this time next year, I'll be doing a documentary on badger deaths in the UK and how they're taking over the countryside and killing people. Because what's happening is they're eating greenfield waste and it's mutating them. So they're living off like bits of Twix and Kit Kat and peanut butter,
human
takeaways, and they're getting really strong now. They're like bulking up and they're getting ready to get us. I know.
Protein shakes.
Yeah. Protein shakes. Cannabis.
I am also going to be performing in one of the Lost Tapes of History episodes.
You are, David, as well, yes.
And
what's your show? What's your one? We're not allowed to talk about
I don't know I don't know. Can we say?
No, I don't think we can. It's a secret.
I'll tell you what, private chat. I can't tell you the episode because I haven't got it in front of me. But the character I've just put in the private chat. There we go. Lost Tapes of History, and we're going to be having Kerry from Lost Tapes of History coming on in a few weeks as well, because Luke and Niall at the what are you laughing at? Luke and Niall at Peaky Finders took Kerry detecting for the first time a few months ago. And also she's been to Spring and Summer Detectivals as well. So we want to speak to Kerry about her experiences from the side of somebody who, 6-7 months ago, had never even heard of metal detecting. Well, probably had heard, but
bit longer than that.
Actually, maybe 8 months. Yeah. Don't know now. Be April. I think it's around about April. But anyway, Adrian is a sex therapist. No, he's the rapist.
What?
Put a space between the E and the R in therapist.
Sex education tutor. I am.
I'm a chef.
Yeah, sex education tutor. Yes. Which has got some really good double entendres, and it includes some quotes from the show Shaft and other things.
Several other people who are watching are all saying in it's actually not education, it's pest.
Not anymore. I've got a phone now with a camera on it. I'm allowed one. It's got a camera on it, so I'm clear now. It's just the button on my trousers broke when I was walking out past that school, and I tripped over, and I unfortunately fell on that young boy, and that's all it was.
Luke, you're gonna have to delete this episode as well, mate.
Oh, it's humour. It's humour. Yeah.
Right.
So
shall we?
History.
Hopefully next week. It's my fault that we didn't have a guest tonight. I got far too caught up in work, so it's my fault that there wasn't a guest tonight. So thanks to Luke for coming up with that for tonight, and to Chris for obviously allowing us to do it as well. And it's been enjoyable, Adrian. It's gone quick.
It has. It's gone really quick. Yeah. Hopefully people enjoyed it tonight and hit the like button and follow us on the Facebook page. It all helps, doesn't it, Dave?
And migrate yourself over, follow, subscribe to the Big Detecting Show. Is it the Big Detecting Show Metal Detecting on YouTube?
Yes, I think
it is. Where we'll be migrating in the very, very, very near future when we have all our birds in a row. So next week, back, same time, same place, same people, same conversation, same T-shirt, same Badger jokes, same Shaft jokes, same Girth jokes.
What's his name? Eagle Eye DJ said we should have a badger as a mascot. That'd be quite an interesting one, wouldn't it? If we had a badger.
Tony Kaywood says someone's hit the thumbs down. How perfectly perfect.
I know who that is.
I'm glad they have.
And I know where you live.
It shows I'm real.
And I know your name. And I know we know who you are when you hit that thumbs down.
And he's from Essex, and he's well hard.
No, he's not. He's from
you.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Google it, Essex boys.
And that's not a transvestite thing.
Google it, you'll see. We know who you are when you hit that thumbs down.
I'm going to bed now. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Adrian, pleasure. Luke, thank you as ever. Mate. And definitely, as I say again, to Chris for allowing us to... done it right for the first time. Chris for allowing us to use that video. And we will see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone. Good luck, Mel.
Thank you.